So I was going to ask you specifically, in your experience, what makes the D so special? You've touched on that some, but if you could kind of give your overall view, aside from what you already said, what makes the D so special? And we know it made you, but can you just hit on maybe one or two finer points about that?
Yeah, I think it is. Detroit is based upon like the people that live in Detroit. The majority of our family came to that place to look for better opportunities for themselves, an equal playing field where they could compete with white Americans in getting the American dream for their kids. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the Great Migration up north to work at Ford or GM or Chrysler. Every man $5 a day, no matter what his color was.
Right.
So the people in the city are there because somewhere in their lineage, there's a man, a woman, or both that gave up everything they knew down south and came up north to make it. And so that's, I don't want to put too much on, people talk about, is it nurture versus nature, right? Mm-hmm. And I think Detroit applies to both. Like it's the nature part of it is that the people most inclined to take chances and try to build success for themselves. Their grandparents, great grandparents came here to do that. So you get that in your blood already. And then the people that are there, the people that now you're in Detroit and you see, at the time the mayor's black, the entire city council is black, every executives, the lawyer, everyone that you can see yourself in everybody.
Right.
So you were nurtured with this concept that you could be whatever you wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's that nature and nurture thing that's going on there. I think the final thing is like, it's not all sunshine. You got to work, right? It's a literal and it's a metaphor, but also very literal. Like it gets cold, right?
Yeah.
In college, law school was like, it's so cold. And the G was that big record. Everybody
right.
Like, I was at Harvard. They were laughing with you about it, but it's like, no, it's cold.
Yeah.
And so it means that you got to be able to survive in any temperature, in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we just shoveled snow. Cold meant there was another revenue stream that could shovel the snow.
Mm.
Right? So cold meant that maybe when you're playing basketball outside with your friends, maybe you weren't as good as them when it was warm, but to be able to shoot a basketball when your fingers are frozen, it's a different talent.
Wow.
So it didn't really matter at that point, it didn't matter how fast you are or how fast or how you could jump, because your body performs differently in that weather.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I played on a tennis team in high school, and like playing tennis at the beginning of the year was very different at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting a baseball when it's 0 degrees outside is a different skill set.
Right.
So it's about your ability to adjust and to move and go with the punches and to improvise. That's where the creativity comes. You got to improvise. Whatever is given to you, whatever your skill set is, you can improvise that and make that happen. And sometimes we do very creative things that are very helpful to communities. And in the 80s, we saw a lot of brothers and sisters improvising, doing very negative things.
Yes.
Destructive things, the drugs and the gangs and other things. But, in its core, it's coming from the same space of creativity and improvisation, and also like the desire to like make a better life for you and your family.
Man, you just broke that down in a way I've never even thought about it. That was really deep. I had to take a second to really just absorb what you said, and it's so true. And I agree 100%. And every guest we've had has come from a different aspect, but it's all spoken to that same core that you were talking about. The adaptation, the adaptability, the creativity, the hustle, the grind is all there. And what gets me about the reputation of Detroit in general and at large is that I hear some of the most negative feedback from people who've never been, and I just say, no, don't do that. Until you've been there, don't speak on it because you don't know.